Hello and welcome to my channel today, Boo Snakes and More. Today we're going to be talking about the 10 greatest Grant Morrison comics. So please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And for more videos like this, watch my other half channel, A&A Snakes and Stuff. My youngest son's channel, Henry's Toys and Games, or my oldest son's channel, Little Chris 10. Now let's dive into the video. Since the 80s, Grant Morrison has been writing some of the best comics at DC, Marvel, and even in the India space. Known for their big cosmic stories and brilliant ideals, Morrison has redefined many characters through the years. Since they've been successful for so long, they've written many iconic characters and teams. It's actually difficult to pick the best Morrison stories, since most of them represent comic books at their peak. That said, certain stories stand above the others. Some of them continue to influence the medium as a whole, while others are just an example of the level of creativity Morrison brings to even the most popular properties. Green Lantern made space feel weird again. Grant Morrison's The Green Lantern is seriously underrated after years of Green Lantern being a traditional style superhero. Grant Morrison's run allowed the Emerald Knight to get weird again. At the same time, the run also simplified things. Hal's in the lead again with no other human lanterns taking the spotlight. And most of the emotional spectrum is ignored for the majority of this run. Instead, each new issue throws Jordan into a new, impossible adventure reminiscent of some of the wackiest Silver Age stories. Morrison also uses Green Lantern to offer camaraderie on society and the state of superhero comics in general. Still, the run ranks last for not being quite as consistent as some of the other stories that Morrison has worked on over the years. Quaz transformed a beloved character into a hero. With Boom Studios, Quaz Morrison transforms one of the most well-known fictional characters of all time, Santa Claus, into a superhero on the level of Superman. The series begins with Claus as a simple trapper who brings toys to his old village of Grimsburg, only to wind up fighting its leader, Lord Magnus, for the sake of Grimsburg's freedom. Following the initial miseries, Morrison and artist Dan Mora continued Claw's adventures through extra-sized one-shots, released specifically around Christmas time. Claws might be more noteworthy for being Dan Mora's breakthrough introduction to the rest of the comics world. That's not to say Morrison doesn't do their share, though, as a story like Claws could have easily been too dark for its own good. Instead, Claws maintains hopeful vibes in all of its adventures, while also making Santa Claus feel like a Christmas-themed Man of Steel. Multiversity defined a new multiverse. DC spent years hyping up Multiversity before it finally released, but it was worth the wait. Morrison and some of the most talented artists in the industry, including Ivan Reyes, Cameron Stewart, and Chris Bruce, exposed readers to a tour of the multiverse, complete with a giant map for lore nerds and fans of the multiverse. Multiversity took readers on a trip through several different Earths in a series of one-shots that were bookended by a two-issue mini-series. Each issue showed vastly different Earths, from a pulp-inspired world protected by the Justice Society to a world where all crime was solved, and the teenage heroes just act out old missions. Animal Man turned the hero into a fan favorite. Grant Morrison's Animal Man was a classic from the 80s. Since Buddy Baker was a lesser known character, Morrison was free to make him interesting enough to hold down a solo ongoing series. Genius, genius that they are. Though Morrison did more than that. They turned Buddy into a fan favorite character whose popularity has held well into the modern era. Morrison's run wasn't terribly long, but the compressed style of the era makes it feel twice as long as a run today. Though Animal Man, Morrison got to experiment with ideas and philosophies, building to one of the coolest endings of any DC Comics book ever. As multi-fictional storytelling was becoming popular, Morrison took that to its natural conclusion and had Baker learn that he was actually a comic book character. Even now, the run stands as one of the best non-standard superhero comic books out there. New X-Men Reset, the X-Men for the next decade. When Grant Morrison took over the X-Men in 2001, they were sorely in need of a refresh. The team was barely recognizable, and years of multiple comics had made things confusing. Fortunately, Morrison had plenty of ideas and star power after coming off their run on JLA, creating one of the X-Men's best relaunches. New X-Men quickly made massive changes to X-Men canon that stood for decades, like the destruction of Grenache and Emma and Scott's relationship. Morrison also introduced the idea that mutants weren't just the next step for humanity, but that mankind would eventually be replaced by mutants entirely. We Three is crashingly brilliant. In 2004, Morrison teamed up with one of their favorite partners, Frank Quietly, to give readers We Three. The miniseries followed a group of cybernetic enhanced animals after they escaped from the military that created them. An example of two brilliant creators working at the top of their games. We Three is a must read for anyone who considers himself a Morrison fan. We Three is emotionally intense and will leave anyone who's ever been a pet owner destroyed by the end. Even those who aren't animal lovers will still find We Three's commentary on the military industry complex, hard hitting. It's a heartbreaking look at how easily man will surrender its humanity in the name of efficiency. We Three is everything it's been hyped up to be for years, and that it ranks in fifth place is only a testament to how great a creator Morrison is. Batman is beloved for the massive challenge it brought. When DC Comics let Morrison write Batman the beloved No Man's Land era wasn't far off, and the character wasn't in need of a grand reinvention. However, Morrison still came in and gave the hero a landmark run that's one of the best comics of the 2000s. It's a book where every issue is a 10 out of 10, and Batman fans who haven't at least tried the series yet are doing themselves a massive disservice. Morrison put the Dark Knight through massive changes, giving him a kid in Damian Wayne, grandson of the longtime Batman villain Ra's al Ghul. They took Batman International with the Batman Incorporated storyline, sending Batman across the globe to spread his influence to fight back against the powerful organization Leviathan. Bruce was even sent through time in the aftermath of the incredible Event Finder crisis, showing readers there wasn't anything Batman wasn't capable of handling. JLA is still the best Justice League comic. In 1996, Grant Morrison and Howard Porter were finally allowed to do what no creative team had in decades, make the Justice League's roster the Big Seven again. The result, not only were they successful, but they created the best run on the Justice League ever. Not a single run's ever come close, even eliminating all of Morrison and Potter's tricks. JLA is maximum spectacle as each issue sees the team facing off against bigger threats than the last issue. It starts with them fighting a super team made entirely of white Martians, ends with them battling a complicated, still winning, despite referring to them as Greek gods. Morrison knows the character element of these heroes. The Invisibles is still the best Bartingo comic. More than 2 decades later, Morrison's The Invisibles remains the best creator-owned work. It might even be one of the best indie comics of the 1990s. This series sees a cell of freedom fighters from the Invisible College battling against the deadly Outer Church, an organization that's already got humanity under its control. The Invisibles is Morrison at their weirdest, merging conspiracy culture, chaos, magic, and cosmic horror into one big cluster bomb that still manages to work. It's a series that demands multiple readings, both to understand all the references and to piece together its non-linear storytelling. All-Star Superman makes Superhuman feel human. All-Star Superman is the best Superman comic to show to someone who doesn't understand the character. It's set in a standalone universe, making it a perfect read even for someone completely new to comics. After Superman immerses himself in the sun, he's more powerful than ever, but only has a short time left to live. Even though All-Star Superman features the strongest version of Superman, it still manages to show him at his most human. His compassion for those around him, and his inability to solve every problem only make him feel even more relatable. Full of unforgettable moments, All-Star Superman is the perfect combination of Morrison's love for superheroes with their love for big, bombastic ideals. Not only is it Morrison's greatest comic, but it's one of the best comics of all time. Thank you for watching this video and peace out till the next one.